Hey, what's up everyone? This is Roger from Roger's Hot Rod Garage, and check this out. This is a redo of the ceramic coated headers on my 1930 Model A Coupe Sport in the BMW V12. Now check this out. I've already got this one side off over here. I think we got about the 20th of May 2024. It's a Saturday. Kind of crappy weather outside. It's raining, blustery, but as you know, I got my stove going on here with a little bit of fan distributing the hot air around the place. But look, this side I've already done. And the reason I'm redoing this, simple redo, for two reasons. One, I had a little bit of blow-by happening, and what that resulted in is a little tick, 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 tick. And what that is, every time that exhaust valve opens up, this right here was blowing through. And if you ever had an annoying header leak, that's exactly what it sounds like. Sounds like a loose rocker or a loose tappet. Long story short is, the second reason I'm doing this is because the professional shop that ceramic coated this guy, one guy individual, I think it was a one-man shop, something went horribly wrong in this process, because the first time I cranked these headers up with a ceramic coating on them, they actually lost the first layer of paint or ceramic coating. It literally just peeled off of there. And the second reason is when I drove to Mario's Hot Rod Garage for the little barbecue he had there, I went down the Autobahn the first time and literally the rest of the paint kind of came off, and this is what it looks like. So check this out. This is ceramic coating, but you can actually literally peel the crap off. So I don't know if he mixed something wrong or didn't do it right or painted it with the paintbrush. They look like crap. So what I've determined here is I got this stuff from the German Bauhaus, which is like your Home Depot, and they also sell it at an auto parts store. I'm not endorsing this product, but I've been using this over here for 10 years right now, so I said, let me shake this up and try it. This is called Duplicolor's Super Therm 800 Celsius. That's not an F, that's a Celsius, so that's about 1100, 1200 degrees. Don't correct my math on that one, I don't know, but I know it's super hot. And I know I've had a lot of pickup trucks where I just sprayed that stuff on them when I did some welding on the exhaust system, even close to the exhaust manifold. And 4 or 5 years later, oh man, it looks pretty doggone good. And it's a silicone-based paint. That's one reason. It looked like crap. The second reason is, I just figured this out again, not the sharpest tool in the shed. Check this out. Can you tell me what the problem here is? I'll give you a second to think about it. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, long story short, my homemade exhaust headers are round here, right? These are actually oval. Or oval, is that the right word? Or rectangular, if you will. That's what I'm looking for. And you can clearly see it here. So my mating surface is literally this little piece right here, this millimeter or maybe 1/8 of an inch. That's the problem. So if you put this on here, the way you orientate it like this, check this out. Right there, basically in the center hole there. So no wonder it's leaking right here, because there's nothing for it to attach to. Now I got away with it for 13 years because I guess I just had a good seal in it, but I can hear a little bit of ticking. But what I've done here on the other exhaust manifold here on the leg headers on the passenger side is, it's not Wile E. Coyote super genius, but it's just one of those light bulbs that hits you in the middle of the night. Only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up these flanges here on the corner, and what I did on the other side is I welded myself a bead right up in here, right up in here. I'm going to do this for all of these, and you can look, it's a perfect example right here. See that little shiny area right there? That's the only thing the seal was holding, instead of the solid 1/4 inch of sealing material. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to use my handy dandy Lorsch welder right here, put everything up in here, and then once I do all that and get it ground back smooth, and I'm not going to take it to a machine shop and have it surfaced, I'm going to use my handy dandy belt sander. I did that the other day. That's some North Carolina hillbilly backwoods crap right there. But it worked. And then I'm going to put these seals back on here, bolt it down tight, starting from the inside, moving all the way out, and then I'm going to come over here. I ordered this from eBay the other day, got here like a day later. This is Permatex gasket maker. It's the high temp version, so this goes up to 360 Celsius, and again, it's not the only sealing material. I'm going to clean up the old exhaust manifold gaskets and put them back on here. Anyway, that's the program today. I should be done in like an hour or two. I could rush and be done in half an hour, but I actually don't tell anybody. I thoroughly enjoy when I got a plan and I knock this out. And then that'll be probably the last video I post for about 2 weeks, just because I got to do a little traveling right now, a little bit of traveling for vacation and then straight to work traveling. But anyway, long story short, I hope you enjoy the video. Take care, like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, I think everybody realizes this. If you're trying to weld to some crap like that right here and get a nice bead in here, forget it. You just got to clean it up like I just did that little one center one right here. And I mean, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. I got this little wire wheel on here. Get all the crap off of there. And you can see I'm down to my TIG weld right up in here. And again, I'm going to run that bead right here, and I'll show you that in a couple of seconds. All right, I've pretty well got all these little holes cleaned up right now. The only thing I'm going to do right here is I'm going to center the gasket times 12, 6, because I'm on this side right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line the outside right here on all of these. And what I'm going to do, if you pull this off right here, that one actually has a good mating surface right here. But what if I'm on this furthest end over here? See, right here is where the gasket could potentially slip to. And then I'm right here, and I think that's actually what happened. So I'm just going to increase this right here, because underneath that ledge, see it underneath here? I've got the potential, what do I got, about, I wouldn't say a 1/4 inch, probably about 4 millimeters. Yeah, and I'm just going to put a little bead right up in there, sand it smooth, and that way I'm not blowing by on this last piece right here. And I'll just go ahead and do this marking for all of them, including right here, right there. Oh yeah, see, this one is a really evident one right here. So if I go here and I put that same mark on here at the farthest end, you can now see why that one, specifically this one right here, was blowing this way right here. So that one's going to get a nice bead right up in here. That's the plan. I'll show you one right now that I just hit with the wire brush right here. Now I'm going to take the grinder, grind that as smooth as possible, just taking the highlighted areas off, or the high areas off, and then I'll just go ahead and clean the rest of these off. And then I'll take my die grinder, not the Dremel tool, die grinder, and I'll clean up the insides right here after I put my gasket back on here, and you can see my old lines on here. And then, you know, clear as much of the path as possible. It'll be a lot cleaner than this right here, but that's what it looks like. And now look, you see I got more of a rectangular up in here, and I've got more flange mating material on here. Anyway, that's the plan. This inside hole, I'll clean that up. But look right here, I'll show you this last example after I've went through this whole process twice now. I take my angle grinder right here. I'm going to try to show you this. See the ridge line on there between, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there it is right there, that ridge line. You just have to get that down until it looks exactly like the actual piece of metal that you just welded to. And here's my process for doing that. See, that right there, as soon as that ridge line turned into that ridge line, you stop. Because if you don't stop at that point, you're going to have a depression in here. Now again, I'm going to take the belt sander and hit these things and kind of like try to true it up a little bit. That is not the right way to do it, but it's the method that I use doing it, because if you look in here, yeah, I got some cool tools in here, but I ain't got no damn machine shop or surfacing machines up in here. So this is your typical definition of Billy Bob Joe backyard wrenching. This will work because I've already tested it. It worked on the other side over there, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. So I'm gonna check it one final time right now for low spots. I got one little bead right there. I'll put a little drop right here, one right there. I'm calling that one complete. I'll die grind off this corner right here after I put my gasket back on here and see exactly where it's at. I'll call that one good. I'll go ahead and drop one right up in there just for shits and giggles. That one right there, see a little corner ridge right there? I'll hit that one more time, and then I'll put one bead up in here, and that's it. You can go ahead and leave the comments in there. I know they're going to be negative, but check this out. This actually works. So what it does is it knocks off the high spots. Again, this is not a machine shop. I'm just going to knock off the high spots. And the next thing you're going to see in this video is I'm going to clean up these corners right here after I lay the gasket on here and mark with a Sharpie where I got to clean up these holes right here. Again, it's just to build up the areas. And you can see the Alpha Tool 720 model is doing the trick right now. I'm knocking off the high areas right here. I've got a little bit of work to do right here. You can see that one little high area right here, but that's what I'm using it for, okay? Go ahead and put something in the comments if you want to. I do care, but I don't. So check this out. I got my die grinder set up over there. I'll bring it over here in a second. And now the only thing I did is I placed my gaskets. These are my exhaust flange gaskets. Marked it right there with a Sharpie, did the same thing here, and I'll just clean up and get the stuff right here with a die grinder. And so check this out. Pretty simple process. I mean, this is not rocket scientist stuff. Throw it up on here, and I know I'm on these outside edges right here, so that's where I'm going to orientate this thing to, and about right there. And it looks like a lot, but it's not. That die grinder cuts pretty good. And I'll do this one right here too, if you can still see that one. There it is right there. And yeah, now I'm on the opposite side, but this one's actually close to the center. And if you see, I'm just going to take off. It's on the left and right side, depending on where you're at, of that weld mark in there. And it's a clean line right there. That's exactly what I'm going to take off. Die grinder, I'll be done here in a couple of minutes. Go ahead and knock this last one out over here. All right, die grinder, Chicago Electric. I've had this sucker for 15 years from Harbor Freight. Is it a professional tool? In my opinion, it is, because it does exactly what I want to. I use it probably once a month for stuff like that, and I don't abuse it. So anyway, here we go. Kind of hard doing that with one hand, but I think you get the idea. Man, it's a lot of crap coming out of there, but that's okay. Oh, look at that. So look folks, let me get my safety equipment off here. I consider this almost done. I'm just going to touch it up just a little bit. I'll clean up a couple of these holes right here with some marks I put on the other side. I can't see them from here. And then sand that thing down, steel wool it down, and put some of that famous paint on there. Just getting all this loose shit off of here right now before I put my second coat on here, or my first initial coat. All right, so this thing's ready to go. Got these things done on the corner and ready to clean this thing up with some steel wool and go for paint. All right, almost done for paint here. It's looking pretty doggone good here. So actually, that's not a bad look if I get it to stay like that, but that'll coarse rust right here. And look, there is some of that ceramic crap left on here, but I'm going to rough that up that the normal old paint will stick to it. Check out those roll-in TIG welds. So ready for paint here. Just a little bit of a brake cleaner here. Get any little fingerprints or oil residue off of this thing. And just take it and wipe it with a rag here. I think I'm almost done now. What I am going to do is take this thing right here and just lay it on top of my stove here just to get a little bit warm. It's not super cold out here today, but paint likes a nice, not hot, but warm surface to actually adhere to. Anyway, that's the plan. All right, Super Therm second coat. The instruction says actually put a light coat on them first, which I did. Then I laid them on my oven right here, just got them warmed up a little bit. That's been about an hour. And I'm gonna put the final coat on here. Check how this stuff comes out of here. It's actually like, well, it's silicone is what it is, but pretty good stuff. Easy to spray on too. All right, put a couple of heat cycles on this thing now. Looking pretty doggone good. A little fireplace. And I just put it on here for half an hour, take it back off. And it's not really super hot, but it's nice to get this thing nice and toasty warm right now. All right, exhaust manifold copper nuts that are concave. You can see that right there. Call this nut polishing. So I screw them on here to keep my beautiful fingers alive. And then wait a minute, it goes this way. Yeah, so that should be okay. Shazam! So, I just figured out you can't put these on the wrong way. Like that one right there. I just noticed it before I put the header on here that it's not lined up properly. So you've got to take this, flip it around, turn it this way or this way, and then, did I do that correctly? Yeah. Holy crap, that's interesting. Like this one right here is off. You can tell there's too much flange right up here, or too much exposed, so it's no big deal. This stuff is still on there. Hold on. Take it off. It's got to go this way. Yeah, because look at that. There's more space up here than there is down here. Glad I caught that little bitty discrepancy and then turned it this way. And look at there. Okay, that one's good. This one here is ass backwards too. Wow, I'm glad I noticed that. And then flip it that way. Okay, cool beans. Now all of them are aligned. Let me go get the actual lake headers themselves and go from there. Okay. Hurry up, Roger. Man. Get old girl up in here. Just trying to get silicone on anything. Let me get a couple of bolts started up on top here. Oh yeah. It actually looks so clean right now. That one's tight. I'll go through this probably about 4 or 5 times on the bottom as well. On the bottom I can actually get in here with the wrench or the socket. Oh yeah. Hey, look, before I drop this thing down and button up this video, I just wanted to show everybody this thing. So this thing actually is pretty manual. What I mean by that is I've got my HEI sitting up here. I consider that almost mechanical because they're simple. You just run 12 volts to them right here, set a red wire down here, and the other wire running right here is going to my tachometer. So I've got 2 HEI Chevrolet distributors on here, one on each side. These are 6 cylinders, obviously, and they run this side of it. But anyway, what I wanted to show you here, this is my throttle cable right here. It comes in here, runs along right here, does a loop, and then pulls right here, and then pulls these 2 Rochester 2Gs right here. You can see that, pretty simple process. I'll hook these wires up in just a second. But anyway, so the transmission, just a second, let me crawl down here underneath it. There's your transmission, and that is what's called a ZF Zuffenhausen, which is by the Bodensee in southern Germany, and that's literally where that transmission has come from. Now, what's interesting about this transmission, see it way up in there, is these folks build transmissions for GM, for Audi, BMW in this particular case right here, because this is what it came out of, a BMW 7 Series. So this is the actual transmission, and the only thing different is the bell housing, which you see right here. Now, in order to put an automatic controller on here, I had to do a little research on the internet, and literally probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, that's how long the setup's been in here. So what you need is an XY controller and also throttle position sensor, and on the back of the transmission is a line coming out for VSS, vehicle speed sensor. And you give those 3 parameters into the computer that a guy named Mike Hoy is his name, out of California, built, not for the hot rod community, but this cat does this thing for Land Rover, so you can manually shift this transmission. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this 4 HP-24 transmission is the exact same transmission that's in a Land Rover. And like I said earlier, GM uses them, Audi uses them, BMW, and a couple of other manufacturers. And what they do is they just change the adapter plate here, or the bell housing. But anyway, there's my XY controller, and ladies and gentlemen, I got this one off of eBay. That is from a Land Rover. So I've got Land Rover parts up in here too. I got Mercedes parts, obviously BMW transmission, or the ZF transmission. And then inside, let me crawl up out of here and grab my little utility light here. I'll show you where my throttle position sensor is, because I didn't want to have that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but here it is in here, and I didn't clean up in here. So there it is, way back in there. That's my throttle position sensor, way up in there. And the only thing that does, it gives a signal. There's my upside down 520 BMW power steering box. That's how I actually do this thing. And hold on just a second here. Crawl up in here. It's not that I'm old, this thing is kind of hard to get in and out of. So check this out. You see this little thing right here? This is your typical low car shifter, so you can push down, put it in gear. Once you put this thing in drive, you can Triptronic shift these gears, or paddle shift them, if you will. So I made this little thing right here, and all it is just a little switch down here, or a little momentary on-off switch. And once you do that, you can manually shift this thing up to about 55, 6,000 RPM. It doesn't bother, but I had it at 6,500, but no need to push old girl over the limits. And if you hold this thing down for 2 seconds, 1001, 1002, it goes back into a manual mode. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to turn the ignition right here. And then this right here is my CompuShift controller. So watch this. If you look at the A right here for automatic, I'm going to push this thing down and hold it. I've got to get it in gear first. See where it says automatic 1? Now it's an S1, so I had to put it in gear. And I can shift the gears 1, 2, 3. Actually, it's idiot proof, so it won't go right now because the car is not physically moving. But all the parameters it tells you, you can, adjust your shift points and everything. But I'm going to stop talking right now and cut this thing off. And then, oh, there's my John Deere riding lawnmower in the rearview mirror. But long story short, let me get out of here so I don't burn a hole in this thing. Cut the lights off. Extract myself out of here. So look, project redoing the headers ×2 is complete right now. So I'm just gonna lower the car down right now, go have a beer over there and toast my buddy Charlie, who's up on the wall over there. All right, hey, let me go ahead and button up this video right here. So thanks for watching again. What else can I show you? Oh, between this stuff drying, I went over ahead and loaded all these old license plates up that I picked up at flea markets and swap meets all over the country, including here in Germany. So that's some stuff. Actually, that's from my son right there. But anyway, long story short, this is my little tribute wall here in the corner. I don't know why I do stuff like this, but I just enjoy it. And I think right now, a 1921 from Pennsylvania or Pena, I don't know what that actually means, whether it's even USA or not, but this probably was bolted on the front. And imagine at one time, the crank for the whatever car was on from the 20s was on there. So I got some cool ones on here. Put these up today too, and hung all these up in here. But anyway, let me get over here. So car is done right now. Both headers are on there. Just love the way this V12 looks up in here. And like I said, I'll crank it up tomorrow morning right before we head to the airport. But let me show you something over here. If you're saying my stuff is too clean, then I really don't care right now. I just like to have my stuff nice and neat and organized, and I do a lot of work up in here. But look, this right here is from a cat named Charlie. So Charlie, rest in peace. He passed away a year ago. And his wife told me that I can go into his little shop he had in the backyard. It wasn't really even a garage. It was just big enough to turn around, but he had stuff like this in here. So I grabbed this one. I didn't even take the bolts off. I just unbolted it from the wall, laid it down in the back of my trailer, and transported it just like you see it right here. So this is Charlie's, and what I did is I went ahead and replicated some of the stuff over here. So my stuff was kind of, unorganized, if you will. I had it laying up right here. But anyway, I love this type of look. So I went ahead and copied what Charlie had right here. So here's what the old codger looked like right here. So Charlie, appreciate it. Thanks for the tools. They're in a good spot right now. And Charlie graduated from the School of Hard Knocks. So he's had a couple of demons in his life, but I guess you can say he's in a better place. Anyway, long story short, got a couple of coats on here, and I went all the way over here and went ahead and clear coated this over here, and just because I like it like that. Hey, that's what I looked like back in 1989. That's in southern France with my 69 MGB. Anyway, back over here to Charlie's wall. Got myself a couple of beers here for the end of the day. So cheers, Charlie. Thanks a lot for the tools. Like I said, they're in a good spot. And for you folks out there in YouTube land, I'm not a good actor and everything, but I really appreciate everybody subscribing. I went way over 2,000 users or subscribers right now, and to the point right now where I'm actually monetizing my channel. That was never my goal. I just wanted to put stuff out there, and if anybody likes my channel, then they can click on and subscribe and share it with your friends. But if not, it makes me know never mind. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the videos. Bye-bye. Cheers.